What can numbers tell us about ourselves? I mean, I follow numbers synchronistically that I call angel numbers, right? I get a lot of sevens and a lot of threes and a lot of ones and twos, 111, 222, 333, and then I'll see 333 and 777. And what does it all mean? And then what does my name mean? Does my name boils down to certain numbers and it tells me about myself? And wow, I just love self discovery, don't you? Well, today's guest, Lauren Drake, is a professional numerologist, and she's going to walk us through my chart actually, so you guys can see about numerology and what it can tell you about your personality and about your life goals and about why you keep seeing those certain numbers pop up and you want to know why they're there. So join us to find out more.
Soul Nectar Show, the Soul Nectar Show. You're invited, delighted to discover who you are. Anything is possible if you believe. So join us on this beautiful journey. Soul Nectar Show, Soul Nectar Show.
Well, hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Soul Nectar Show. That show where we talk about all things essence, where we gather around the campfire and we share our stories of connection to that which is greater than us, the big mystery beyond the veil, to those synchronistic moments that lead us inexorably to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. I'm your host, Carrie Hummingbird, and you guys know that I am such a geek for ways to understand myself. I love just systems that help me to reveal aspects of myself and to understand why I'm the way I am and to accept myself fully as that. And for me, that approach works a whole lot better than that 20 years on the couch, looking at all my brokenness and how to fix myself to be different than I am so that I can be accepted and loved. It actually has worked out a lot better for me to simply understand myself better and love myself the way I am because I'm designed this way. And so are you. You're designed exactly to be just who you are, and the universe is expressing that and affirming it at every turn. And if we don't like who we are, we end up with a really difficult life trying to change ourselves to be something we're not, versus just refining and refining and refining to get more and more down to that core authenticity of who we actually are, which we kind of knew the whole time, but we were trying not to be that. So to get acceptance, right? And so today there's this beautiful quote from our guest today. It says, living your truth is the greatest gift you can give yourself and others. And I so resonate with that quote from Lauren Drake. Welcome, Lauren.
Hi,
Say hello.
Carrie.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, good. So everybody meet Lauren. Lauren is a professional numerologist and a Reiki practitioner who found her calling in the holistic healing arts later in life after searching for her own purpose while suffering from corporate burnout. And I know that many of us can resonate with that little phrase, corporate burnout. And so following her intuition signs and her understanding of herself, she gained from numerology, she stepped away from her 15-year career as a food safety professional to follow her dream and transform her passion of numerology and energy healing into her destiny by practicing full time. And that is a courageous move. We're coming into a time when it's going to be normal to do that, but it's a courageous move up until now to have done that. So I want to applaud Lauren for following her destiny so that she can help you follow yours. And we're going to learn today about how just using your birthday and birth name, you can decode your unique life blueprint in order to help yourself align to your soul contract and embrace specific conscious or unconscious gifts. And Lauren is an expert in this, and she's going to guide us through it. And I think she's going to use me as a guinea pig. So Lauren, to help us to know a little bit about, I know we heard a little bit about your story of corporate burnout, and, give us a little glimpse about what that was like for you to make that shift into your own destiny work.
Okay. Yeah, it was scary. I mean, I won't lie in that, but I knew that it was what I needed to do, and it was aligned with my authenticity. And I think I had just, not I think, I know I had been living inauthentically, sorry, I can't speak today, for years. We grow up in this society that expects us to just do and be productive, and then find a job that makes us the most money, get a good education. And we lose sight of who we really are in our core, unfortunately, when we're living life that way. And that's how I lived, and I knew nothing different of that. And found a good job, actually a great job, working in the food industry, and worked my way up the corporate ladder. And I found myself at about 33 in my dream, what I thought was my dream position, and I just realized I don't want it anymore. And I was like, what am I doing? I'm not happy. I was really honestly miserable, working myself like crazy. I couldn't shut down, when I came home from work, or even working from home. It was especially hard to do that. And then I thankfully stumbled upon numerology when I had some extra free time. Well, not really free time, but just time on my own when I started traveling a lot for work. I was able to quiet down and really start listening to myself. And that's when I started my spiritual quest and started to bring in everything that was of interest of me, and going down all kinds of spiritual rabbit holes. And I found numerology, and it honestly changed my life. I just really was able to just feel seen for really the first time ever in my life, through numerology. And it allowed me to really step into my power and take back my life, and live the way that's aligned to me, rather than what everyone expected me to do. So, and yeah, it was really scary, but I leaned into trusting the universe. And I got in touch with my guides, and I started utilizing tarot, and utilizing those tools that were able to help me find my way, and also know that the universe has my back. And I just like, this is what I need to do in order to continue towards my destiny. And it's, my gosh, I've never been happier ever since making the big jump.
I love that. I love stories like this because it reinforces what I've been saying for years, and I channeled in the Second Wave book from White Eagle, is that we each have a unique thumbprint, and that thumbprint is our journey through life. Like, that's our unique path to unlock the gold within, right? Because my path was through shamanism. Shamanism lit me up. It was like, how many more teachers of shamanism are there? I want to learn from everybody, and I want to just like feast at the buffet of shamanism, right? And I studied from so many luminaries. And so for you, that joy got lit up because you found numerology. That was like your path. You found that beautiful awakening, that opening where it's like, oh, I'm seen, I'm heard, this feels right, I like this. And I really do believe that we're all designed in a certain way. So tell us about how numerology works, because not everybody maybe understands. Like, I know maybe people think numerology is like angel numbers, and I guess that's one aspect of numerology. Maybe like
Yeah, that's
I
part of
see
it.
the angels numbers and all the time, and I'll actually say, I'll give a brief story. So this past Sunday was the launch of the Inner Medicine book, and I was leading an event at Unity Church for Earth Day. And I was really uncomfortable, going to Unity Church. And I was like, why are they having me go here to do it? I don't understand that. Like, I have plenty of other places I could be doing this where people know me, they'll promote the event, like, and they're not even promoting the event, even though they said they would. And I was really grumbly. I was grumbly. And I was like, and it's $359 to rent the room. Gosh, that's a lot of money. And I was really grumbling. And then I was like, why is all this happening? And my coaches were like, why is all that happening? I was like, I don't know. Let me think. And I realized it was because that was my first stop on my path, right, to healing. Because after my marriage, I didn't have any spiritual connection. So I was like, I don't have any idea, about spirituality. I went to a church, like everybody thinks, right? Go to the church. That was my first stop. And they happened to share with me lots of things that opened my heart. Rumi, many poets and things that I heard. But the key was the 359. So when I realized that, I looked up 359, and it says leadership. Step into your leadership. Be the leader, be the example. Not everyone's going to be behaving in the best. You're here to show up and be in integrity and be that leader that shines. And I was like, oh, okay. So they're not really keeping up their end of the bargain, but that's okay because I'm a leader. And so I'm going to show up there, and I'm going to do the ceremony anyway. And I'm going to give it as a donation and gratitude, right, for my time. So like that 359, it really helped me understand like what was actually going on. It was a message I needed.
That's the beautiful thing with angel numbers. And yeah, you did the great thing of if you add a lot of the numbers up, it'll give you a message as well. Plus, if you're seeing like repeated numbers in that way, there's usually a message behind it and it's specific to you. And although, yes, each number has a general vibration and attributes associated with it, but it can mean different things depending on where you're at in your life, depending on what your personal numerology is. It can be different for everybody. And so, yeah, really going within and really listening to like, yourself, your guides, whoever you're turning to in that point, just being like, what does this mean? And really digging into that can give you so many insights just through the numbers, which is really beautiful that you were able to do that too.
Yeah, so tell us other ways. So that's one way. A lot of people know about how to do angel numbers. They like see 111 or 222 or 333 or, different combinations of numbers. I'm always looking them up now. But like what other ways? What is like true numerology also according to your practice?
Right. So with numerology, there's so many things beyond just angel numbers that you can do with it. It's a whole system that's designed to be able to really help you align to your soul's blueprint that you came into this lifetime to live. And so I practice Pythagorean-based numerology. So it goes all the way back to about 500 BC with Greek philosopher Pythagoras. Remember from geometry class, same guy. So he continued the work that other systems had already been doing and brought it all together and created what we now utilize today as Pythagorean numerology. And so there is, with the alphabet, there's a number attributed to each letter of the alphabet. So utilizing this Pythagorean system of numerology with the letters and numbers, we can literally take your full birth name, break it down to a single digit. Well, there's multiple numbers we can get from it. I'll get into that. But that'll give a good insight into a lot of the abilities you came in here with that you're learning through your lifetime. It'll even talk about your belief systems. We can learn that right through your name, and even how you project your energies out, we can learn through your name. But most of all, if you just take your birthday, there's two big numbers we can pull from your birthday in numerology. So the first most essential number is your life path number. So that's literally taking your full date of birth and adding up all the numbers and reducing it down to a single digit. And so whatever that single digit is, it's attributed with many different attributes. There's, all numbers exist on a range of vibrations. And there's what we call the light and the shadow side. And then there's the balanced energy, which is the light side. So each number can exist on this range, and it's unique to you how you decide, because we have free will, right? For you to decide how these numbers are going to play out in your life. So there's, like I said, the most essential number is a life path number. And what that can tell us is the main lessons that you came into this lifetime to learn. So it not only will talk to that, but the experiences that you'll go through. It can really help explain a lot of the things that you will experience in life and validate those things. And also help you be in alignment with what you're meant to learn in this lifetime. And so that's what we really call, when someone is talking about numerology and finding your destiny, that's really related to your life path number. So that's a number you always want to go back to if you're feeling out of balance. You can even take just literally your day of birth, so the date, and reduce that down to a single digit, and that's called your birthday number, which that can even talk to the innate talents that you came into this lifetime with. But most of all, too, there's a sub lesson there. So there's your birthday number can talk about a sub lesson that goes right along with the main lesson of your life path. So just learning these numbers can really help you be in alignment with what you're supposed to be doing here on Earth this lifetime, and really help you live in your authenticity. And that's just like the quote that you said when, starting the show about living in your truth. It really is the greatest gift that you can give yourself or others, just by sharing your own light, because we're all meant to be here as beautiful, different expressions of divine source, right? We're all these different expressions, and we all create one big tapestry, right? We're not the same, but we are all one, as one together, right? A part of source, but yet we have all these different expressions. And that's what's beautiful with numerology. It helps demonstrate those different expressions of source. And so I mentioned earlier about the numbers that you can be derived from your name. So these different numbers too, they're typically referred to as like your expression number, which is the abilities that you acquire over your lifetime. Typically they come on board around at a young age, around age 5 or so. And then you have your soul urge number, which speaks to your belief systems, the way you think, your deepest desires. And you can also derive, like I said, your personality number, which is how you project your energies out to the world, basically how other people see you. And so knowing all these numbers together can help you figure out how you can utilize your talents to manifest your destiny and live those lessons that you're meant to learn in this lifetime.
Well, I know that you're going to bring this home and make it real for us, right? Because you have
Oh.
my information. So everybody, you're going to get a special treat. You're going to see Carrie Hummingbird get some information about herself that she doesn't know yet on live on the call. So Lauren has my birth name and my date of birth, and we're going to give you guys, and you can decide for yourself because you guys know me pretty well. So we'll see what you think.
All right, well, let's jump right into it then. You ready? I'm excited to share this. This is the first time that I've been a guest on a podcast where they've shared their numbers with me that we're able to go over. So it's super exciting. So, all right. So like I said, your most essential number is your life path number. So I'm going to, of course, start with that, right? So Carrie, utilizing your birth date and taking it down to a single digit, you are a life path number 3. So if you, again, like I mentioned earlier, if there's angel numbers around you a lot, if you see a lot of 3s, that can be very much related to you're on the right path.
I see 3s all the time, like 3, 3, 3, 3, 3,
Yep.
3, 3, 3, 3, 3.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I'll talk about the 3 here in a second. But keep in mind too, what the life path also is yes, you come in with some of these innate qualities, but it's also, of course, it's the lessons you're trying to learn. So these are the things that if, during youth, you may have not expressed these quite as much. And especially depending on the location of all the other numbers in your chart, that can sometimes block the access to your life path number. And so that can explain why some people don't necessarily right away resonate with their life path numbers, because they have all these other strong energies around. And I do see maybe a little bit of that when you were younger, that there was maybe a little bit of a harder time accessing these energies. And so just keep that in mind as we go through it. I'm going to talk about what the 3 really means in your life. So the 3 is a life path. 3 is a very feminine energy. So it's very compassionate, very loving, very emotional. But 3, most of all, is the most childlike number of all the numbers. So this just tells me that you have this natural curiosity, playfulness. You're very friendly and open-hearted. And you can be very emotionally sensitive as well and tender. And you can just be also naturally connected to the joys of life. 3s are able to really just see the world, observe, and really just be joyful about it. Like, for example, you can probably look outside and just look at your backyard and see 5 different colors of green in your grass and really be appreciative of that, and really see the butterflies around, and counting those and really just taking those in and see the magic in the mundane in that way. That's really the essence of the 3.
Yeah, that feels super accurate. You guys just asked, but I think that's me. Yeah, and I've had a lot of seriousness in my life, younger life. So that obviously seriousness blocks all that delight and that innocence, right? That play.
It does. Well, and that's also part of the lesson of the 3. So 3s don't just naturally come in right away of like, oh, I'm this optimistic, playful person, and I can just see the light side. I'm going to say we, because I also have a 3 life path. We're meant to experience the light and the shadow side and experience those darker energies, so that when we are fully embodied and fully living our authenticity and sharing that light that we have and that joy and optimism, we can really fully appreciate it. And it's really coming from a place of experience. And so that's overall, that's the main lesson, and the reason that you came to Earth this lifetime is to express yourself and express that joy of living with others and really sharing your light with others. And that's exactly what you're doing,
Yeah,
right?
that feels really accurate. It's pretty much what I do every day. I'm lit up by lighting up.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So I think it speaks that you're very much aligned to your destiny. I said earlier that there may be something that may block those. So because you have other more masculine, a little bit less they're more emotionally controlled energies that are surrounding your life path number. And I say surrounding because the type of numerology that I practice, it's called the human body method. And so I literally see your numbers as like on your body, right? So your life path is like in your heart, and your expression number is your hands, your soul urge is your head. So I literally picture it on, on a body. And so the way that those other numbers might be blocking it maybe mean that during, when you're younger, it may have been a little bit harder to access these energies. And again, which kind of contributes to the little bit more seriousness, harder feelings that you had to go through, those kind of experiences. And it'll kind of detract from the essence of the 3 that you felt. But as you've matured, as you come into yourself and understand yourself, you definitely have like blossomed and let that come out. And so there's a lot more I could talk about the 3. Do you want me to go more into that, or should we talk about some of your other numbers and things
Let's talk about some of the other numbers, because I feel like, the 3, everyone's like, oh yeah, Carrie Hummer is a 3.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go to what we call your expression number, or your hands number. Like I said, if you're thinking on the body, I like to call it your hands because it's natural talents that you've acquired to be able to make things manifest in your life. So it's like how you're taking those energies from your life path and now you're pushing them out to the world. So here in your hands number, you have a 7. So it's 7 expression number.
Okay, that's why 7s always show up.
That too. Yep.
Always seeing 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7.
Yep.
Yeah.
And 7 is a very spiritual number as well. It's very spiritually connected. So because this is in your hands, these are your talents, right? That you take and you go about life and make things happen. It shows that your actions, you're very wise, right? In your actions, you're very much going to like reflect on things, and you're not going to necessarily just jump right away without thinking. 7s are very analytical as well, and intellectual. Maybe sometimes can lean into perfectionism a little bit too.
A lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know if you feel it, but you've got some very perfectionist numbers going on in your chart.
I'm here to perfect things, but it's already perfect. So how can I? But I do my best.
See, that's a 3 outlook right there. You're taking it and spinning it in a beautiful direction. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. I've had to learn that.
Well, part of your lesson, of course.
Right.
So as the 7 expression number, that means that because you're really reflecting and there's lots of depth in your actions, you're not going to do things just like on the surface and just quickly get them done. You're like going deep and really understanding things, really want to learn and analyze. And there can also be a little bit of a little darker, mysterious side as well. Maybe sometimes you kind of growing up, or there was a little bit you kind of kept hidden, again, because you maybe weren't as in touch with that 3 energy. If you had more of that 7 energy out there, you could be a little bit quieter. Maybe the 7s are much more introverted. And I don't know if you've had this experience, but a lot of people that have very different numbers like 3 and 7 sometimes feel like that extroverted introvert, where it's sometimes you can be very introverted and you really desire your alone time, really need that peaceful, calm alone time. Other times can be really out there and social and have fun and just join in the crowd. So you can maybe feel a lot of that back and forth throughout your life.
Yeah, absolutely. In the Gene Keys, I call that hermit opportunist. So yeah, I love to be, my mom used to say that I would invite friends over to the house when I was in grade school, and I would invite them over to play. And then I'd play with them really hard for like a long time, I'm really excited and immersed in it. And then at some point I'd be like, that's enough. Like, you guys need to get out of here. And I'd kick them out, and I'd count all my toys and put everything away, make sure nobody took anything. And then I'd sit in my chair with a book and read. And she's like, you just sigh like, so, they're gone, like,
Yeah.
like I love them, but like, please leave.
Yeah.
Like that. And I still have that. I softened it a bit, but yeah, it's like always playing with those 2 energies. Like, when I need to cave, I need to cave. Like, I just need to go in the cave, and I disappear, and people are like, where'd she go? But I need to cave.
That can definitely be caused from that. And that's what's really cool about numerology, is when you are able to recognize that and you're like accepting it and be like, no, that's kind of cool. This is just me. I just have this natural, I find that balance and I work with it.
Exactly. Just accept it.
Exactly. Well, just 7 shows 7 is very unique as well. So it just shows that in your actions, you're not going to do things that everyone else is doing. Like you're going to create your own way. You're going to.
Everyone's laughing now.
Pretty accurate.
Challenge the status quo, go my own direction, do things my way. Yeah. I encourage everybody else to do the same if they feel called. So
Yeah. Well, and that's really, sevens are all about like seeking their own truth, and specifically on spiritual truth, because I mentioned earlier that seven is a very spiritual number as well. People with strong sevens in their chart are just naturally drawn more to, like either you could go the more scientific research kind of route, or you can go the more spiritual, metaphysical route as well. Typically, a lot of sevens are in those fields, so it really fits with your numbers. Okay, so like I said, that's how you manifest things in your life. And like again, there's a whole lot more to all these numbers, but I definitely want to get a big picture. So we won't go too deep into it. But I do have actually on my website, I don't mean to divert this too much, but I do have a blog that talks about each of the numbers. And so if you want to know a little bit more about them, you can always read into that.
awesome. Yeah, I will put a link to that in the show notes so you guys can go look that up. This is a really good, this is a good proving point though, what we're doing right here. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Is that true? Oh yeah, it is.
All right. So now we're going to talk about your soul urge number, or what I call your head number. Again, this is a very different energy than what you have as your life path number. Here is in your soul urge number, you actually have a 4. So 4s it's a very masculine number, very much more emotionally controlled compared to your 3 life path number. 4s are very rooted. They're very much about structure and stability. And so because this is in your head or your soul urge number, this talks to your desires, right? And how you think, your belief systems. So this tells me that you definitely really like, even though you're very unique in the way you go about life and you like to have fun with it, you still really desire to have structure. You really like to be organized and are a planner. You want to have those nice laid plans so you know what you're getting into. And it brings a maturity to your chart as well, because like I said, the 3 is very childlike. The 7 and the 4 are very mature and much more complex numbers. And so 4, like I said, it's much more pragmatic. It's more down to earth. And so that's kind of where, again, you may have felt throughout your life a pull between kind of 2 different polar opposites, where at times, or again, you may have had times where you just, I don't want to plan. I just want to go have fun and just do whatever I want to do and flip from thing to thing. But then you may have had other times and you're like, no, I need to figure out what I'm doing. And I want to have this all laid out. And again, a little bit of maybe that, like you said, you kind of like lined your toys up to make sure they were all there. You wanted to,
This is
a
true.
little bit of that, like as a perfectionism, sometimes if you have an overbalance of 4, it can even kind of go on a little bit of like OCD tendencies. So
Actually, yes, very OCD. That's how I often laugh that's how I got so much good spiritual practice in it. So it's a little bit of OCD. It's like I'm really good at practicing, and that builds the momentum of everything. And I want to also correlate, because I just looked into I'm not really a huge knowledgeable person about astrology, but I just looked into and I saw that my north node is that's what I'm going for, right? My north node is what I'm working on, and that is playing. That's actually that 3 energy you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And the energy I'm already really, really good at is the 4. I'm good at planning. I'm Virgo, like that Virgo energy of planning. Like I know how to do that. Planning in business, planning things, structuring things. People are always really surprised when they collaborate me and they get to know me on the back end. They're really always surprised at how structured I am, and like how methodical and how like planned out, and how just like really got good systems in place and can get stuff done really fast. And they're usually like super surprised by that, because that's not like the impression people get when they see me in public, or they see that side of me, the childlike side. They don't really think that I'm all that organized, but I mean, think about it. How else would all this have happened, if I wasn't organized?
Right. You're putting in the work, definitely.
Exactly. So yeah, but that side can also that's the side that gets super critical, that part. The mental part, this is the masculine mind, right? Like we got to be so careful with that masculine mind and follow the heart a little bit more.
Mhm. When I love too how you pulled in and you compared it to astrology as well. And I think that you'll find that there are so many similarities. You'll basically get the same information, but it doesn't necessarily, you can't always say that, oh, the North Node is always your life path number or something like that. But I found that in mine, I've been trying to correlate and figure out where all those things are. They're all in different places, but it's the same information that always comes out. And so
That's what's
like I said,
cool.
yeah, I also have a 3 life path number. And I found out that when my what is it, your midhaven, right? That's also your part of your destiny. I'm not an astrologer, so I could be wrong, but that's in Leo, right? And Leo is all about like just being bright and sharing that love of life and all of those qualities, which is very similar to the 3 as well. So it's cool how you can like I said, correlate the different systems, and it really speaks to how that numerology is really just like, and astrology is really just explaining the energy, the universal energies around us. They're just different systems, but we're all connected to the same universal energy. So we're getting the same information.
And, so now that you guys are listening to this, I mean, I think you probably want one of your own readings to see information from Lauren. So give us one more thing that people can go, oh, I want to know my version of that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's talk about your birthday number. How
Oh,
about
cool.
that?
Yeah, let's do that one.
Yeah, because that is, like I said, literally taking your day of birth. So you were born on the 26th. We reduce that down. 2 plus 6 is 8. Okay, so here again, you have much more masculine energy here. And this really speaks to that strategic managerial quality that you were talking about earlier. 8s are they're very ambitious, very achievement oriented, and really wanting to seek progress and get things done. And you probably really feel really good and accomplished when you complete things. And it's really 8s as well. People have strong 8s in the chart. They're really these powerful survivors. They're really able to just get through that hard stuff and really pull themselves back up and really like that phoenix rising from the ashes kind of energy, like really keep going and be even better. And 8s as well have this natural ability to work with money. And it does, maybe you didn't necessarily start out with having a lot of money, but typically people that have 8s in their charts learn how to work with it and will eventually understand how to attain material wealth. And I mentioned earlier that your birthday number also contains a sub lesson of your lifetime that goes right along with your life path number. So having, like I mentioned, all this, the 8 energy is very much related to material attainment and being successful and exerting your own power. But what you really want to learn with that 8, so as a sub lesson 8, is to understand and feel that satisfaction that comes along with material freedom and power. And, to really understand that there should be a balance in life, right? That material isn't everything. So even though 8s may be able to really attain material wealth, material gains, they're meant to learn that balance and realize that, oh, yes, I can do this and I can master it, but that's not what life is all about. And think about 8, when you put 8 on its side, it's the infinity symbol, right? That's really about balancing the spiritual and the material realms. And so that's again part of your sub lesson that goes right along with your joy of living and joy of expressing yourself of your 3 life path number.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that as well. I mean, that's been a big part of learning, like being a spiritual entrepreneur. You're going to have that lesson and learning how to rewire like what money means and decondition it from the old paradigms of just materialistic and that capitalism kind of model. And yeah, I was really successful entrepreneur in Silicon Valley for a long time. And I mean, if I just like said I had an opening in my calendar, I would get like jobs, because I was really good at what I did. And so money wasn't really ever an issue for me. And then I started the spiritual path, and then it started to become a little bit an issue, as many of us experience, because, well, up until now, it hasn't been very well regarded, by a lot of people. Avoid it, right? Avoid the spiritual path. So when you start going into this kind of work as a spiritual entrepreneur, you're going to have to decondition the money. It has to be like cleansed, and rewired so that money has a different meaning. And the meaning I give money is love now. So I just say money is love and appreciation. And so when I receive money and love, I say, oh, I'm receiving love and appreciation for my gifts. And then I'm like, thank you very much. and then it becomes a matter of receiving, letting yourself receive. So yeah, I love that, because that has been a big part of and I'm still in the process of rewiring that. Everything I do is for the collective. So it's like rewiring our relationship with money. Many of us are involved in that conversation right now in our own projects, our little side projects. And I say, yes, everybody do your side projects, rewire money.
Yeah, it's very important, right? And money is just an energy. That's really all it is an energy exchange. Just like everything else we're experiencing is energy.
Exactly.
Do you want to dig a little bit further into your chart or talk about anything else?
Let's see. Let's do one more. And then I just want people to be like really excited, like, wow, this is cool. I mean, think about all the things you could find out about yourself just from the numbers. The numbers. Oh, you know what's interesting? Let's go into, I'd love to have a conversation with you about your birth name. So let's do my birth name, something about my birth name. Because guys,
Yeah.
my birth name is is really different than my current name, right? Because spirit gave me a whole new name, and then a whole new partner. And so my name is like completely changed from the name I had when I was born. The only thing that's the same is Carrie. So it'll be interesting to see what that says about me, given the fact that I've done so much transformation work, which I know everyone will be really curious about, like, hey, did that really hold true? So tell us, what does my birth name say?
Okay, so all the numbers that we just spoke about, those are from your birth name,
Oh,
right? That's where
cool.
so that's where all your main lessons come from. So even if someone changes their name, their main blueprint doesn't change. However, when you do have a name change, there can be extra added influences that come in. You can utilize your energy a little bit differently. So it can affect you. It does have an effect, but it will never change your full blueprint in that way. And so what I see in yours with your name change is you bring in a lot more 8 energy, right? We just talked about what the 8 is.
That explains all my book launches and my #1
Mhm.
bestsellers.
Yeah, right, exactly. And you're just go, go, go and achievement
Mhm.
oriented and really doing so many amazing things. And so, yeah, so looking at your new name, so you have it changes to the hands or your expression number is an 8, as well as sorry, I'm just looking at my notes here. Your soul urge is also an 8 too. Along with you'll still have your birthday number 8. So that's a lot of 8 energy. And so that'll put more emphasis on it. Now, it won't be the same as like if someone had all these 8s within their birth name chart. But for you, it's like I said, just adding more of that success and attainment and understanding that balance between material and spiritual in that way.
Oh, that explains so much. I mean, I'm literally driven. It's like I have one of those vows, sacred vows of like service and getting out there and doing everything I possibly can to alleviate suffering, knowing that it might not be possible to alleviate suffering, but I'm still going to try and get the messages out there and do everything I can to support people right through the time and through the change. And there's so many little sticky things that come up as a server self like that, so many little challenges and hurdles, and martyrdom being like one of the ones I've really worked through, that challenge of martyrdom and self-sacrifice to the place of self-injury, right? So that I'm really feeling that infinity symbol. It's like Carrie's receiving, Carrie's giving, Carrie's receiving, Carrie's
Mm-hmm.
giving. It's
Yeah.
like Carrie's not carrying, she's carrying.
Well, let me talk a little bit about let's look at just your name in general too. Like not just
Okay.
breaking it down to those other numbers, but just literally looking at Carrie Hummingbird and breaking that down. It's an 8 again. And
Good.
what it's made of a 17/8. Okay. So the double digit number before you break it down can give a lot of indication of how that 8 plays out. And a 1 is all about new beginnings and individualism and expressing yourself and being unique. And then 7, remember I already talked about the
Yeah,
7 being
that's
that
me.
spiritual mystical side and being that truth seeker. So that's really how you're meant to attain this material gain, is through those unique attributes about you.
Isn't that cool, you guys? Like, that's so cool, right? I mean, everybody can see it's true. That's really awesome. Well, this has been really informative. I really appreciate you coming in and
Yeah,
sharing that.
it's
I
been
can't
great.
believe other people don't ask you to do this for them, because it's really, I mean, it's one thing talking about it, but I always believe it's so important to experience it.
To
Like
see it in
once,
action.
yeah,
Hmm.
when you see it in action, you go, "Oh, that really is helpful," or that, "Oh, that really does clarify and reinforce a lot of stuff," right? And see, so everybody who's like, "Gosh, she's always after the next bestseller. Oh my gosh, she's writing a new book." Well, now you know, because I got a lot of eight in my chart. I can't help
Exactly.
it.
And it's coming from a really good place too. And it really shows that you're learning that sub lesson of really balancing it, and you're doing it for the right reasons and not just for those selfish reasons. You're really helping people along the way as well.
Yeah, and then also letting myself be super excited, right, and not feel
Yeah.
selfish about being excited that it's number one
Yeah.
international
You're
bestseller. It's like,
three.
oh my
Let
gosh,
that
I'm
light
very
shine.
excited. That's really happy. You know, it does make me happy. It makes me happy just because it makes me happy. And then, you know, and do I even need a reason? So I go through these conversations because I've got that intellectual center you were talking about that's always
Mhm.
picking everything apart and going, is that in the best and highest? Is that the most perfect? Is that the most perfect way to think about
Mhm.
this? You know, I'm obsessing like everything all the time. And it's like sometimes I just need to breathe with my inner child and go,
Yeah.
do a happy dance. Who cares? Just do a
Yeah,
happy dance.
exactly. Get in touch with your heart energy. Get in touch with that three energy, and you'll find the answer. It'll just come
It's
to you.
right there.
Mhm.
So fun. I know that you offer numerology readings just like I received right here,
Mhm.
right now with you guys. I know you see the value of this now. And I really encourage you, you know, to go out and book a reading with Lauren. This is super fun. And Lauren, you're also in the process of developing a program to help businesses take employee wellness to a whole new level. Wow, I would love
Yeah.
that. I would love it. Anything that helps mainstream people stop judging each other with labels, and you know, like, oh, she's such a narcissist, oh, she's such a
Mhm.
can we just say, oh, she's such an eight? Isn't that
Yeah,
beautiful?
exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah,
she's got a lot of three.
that's really the idea.
Understanding.
Yeah, that's really the idea behind it. I'm calling it the Numerology Alignment Program, and to really help, especially people in the corporate world, because I came from there, right? I understand what it's like to lose yourself and not understand, and then you don't even understand yourself. How can you have compassion for your coworker because you don't understand them either? So really understanding your own chart, but then learning to utilize or learning what other people's life path numbers are that can offer that compassion and also authenticity to really allow us to really continue to express ourselves. And maybe not everyone's going to just go out and quit their job like I did and become a neurologist, but how do we utilize your authentic self in the current situation that you're in so that you can live the happiest life that you're meant to?
I love that you're making a course, because this seems like fairly straightforward to do the math and calculate things. It's something that everybody can figure out, you know, get the training on
Mhm.
how to do. And then they can learn so much about themselves and others, and stop using those labels. People stop saying bad stuff about each other that way.
Exactly.
And just like go, oh, this person, you know, is learning, this person is doing this. Um, and then maybe that'll lead them to the gene keys and stuff, you know, more complicated
Mm.
charts. Those are very complex. I always say gene keys charts, they're very deep, but again, I like deep, you know.
Of course, you're a seven as well, right? You got the seven expression
I
number.
love the deep. But you know, but this is a great starting place, and a deep place too, because it totally reinforces all the messages in the gene keys that everything you just said is in there. It's in things people told me from my astrology. So I love how the messages overlap, and it's just a way for us to see it from another angle, no matter what level, you know, kind of experience or knowledge you have about yourself. This seems like a really helpful tool. Thanks for coming on and sharing this with us, Lauren. Is there anything else you want to share with people before we head out?
Yeah, so I really like to track also my personal numerology cycles. So with numerology, you have long-term cycles, but you also have short-term cycles, which are like your personal year, your personal month, personal day. So I really enjoy doing that, and it really helps me also understand kind of the energies that are coming and help have compassion for myself if I'm just like, I'm not feeling it today, like I'm not getting anything done, I can't focus. And then I look back and I'm like, oh, maybe it's a 2 day. I'm a little bit more, I need a slower day. You know, I need to rest. I need to just kind of like go inside, maybe meditate a little bit more. And then I realized that, well, my next day is going to be a 3 day. So that's going to be more fun. I'm going to be able to express myself and be able to get things done. So if people are interested in tracking their own personal days, I offer a numerology guide for personal days, which is on my website. And normally it's $11, but I have a discount code. If you just enter podcast, you can get the guide for only $1.11. And it'll literally walk you through how to calculate your personal days. And it has examples of each day of the different energetic gifts that'll come to you and what you may want to avoid, and then suggestions of things that would be good to do during those energetic periods to really take advantage of the universal energies around you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I'll put the link below, guys, to that one. That sounds like a great gift. 111, of course.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, Lauren, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your wisdom. I want to encourage everybody, take her up on these offers and share it out with other people that you think might be interested in getting a reading themselves or finding out this path of numerology. Super exciting. And share, like, subscribe, give us some comments. What do you think about this episode? What did you experience? What did you realize? Did you have a chuckle when you heard my information? And and give us some feedback. We'd love to hear from you. And we're going to give everybody kisses now, Lauren. So we like to give kisses at the end. And so you can just blow kisses.
All right.
Okay, here they come, everybody. We love you so much. I love you guys. All right, everybody.
Great.
It was super fun. We hope to see you next week on Soul Nectar Show. Have a great week, everyone. Bye for now.
If you found even one gold nugget in this episode of Soul Nectar Show, will you do us a favor? Will you subscribe, like, and share this episode? Maybe even write a comment and let us know what you thought about it. We really, really want to engage with you at a much deeper level. Let's be part of community together. Have a great week, everyone. Bye for now. To dive in deeper to nourishing conversation, visit soulnectar.show.
Soul Nectar Show. Awaken, Nectar Show. Take a sip from the drip of nectar from the source of who you are.